What's up, people? In this video we are going to do this RVC suggestion to do 2 of Hamna Gilani's videos. Be nice, I like her, how I lost 70 pounds, how I was treated after weight loss. Let's do this one, sounds slightly more interesting. And as I said here, I'll take a look but no promises, but you know, we'll see. If you guys have any other recommendations for videos or YouTubers, let me know, leave me a comment.
Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would film a video talking about exactly how I was treated losing that weight, and you know, even now, like 5 years later, how people treat me. It's kind of crazy because people are still so shocked to see me, especially if they knew me from before. So yeah, let's just get into it. I also got a lot of comments. You guys were wondering some juicy details, so I thought I would let you know, share my experiences again. You guys know I love to tell some stories. Okay, so in the video before, I mentioned how brown people, like Desi community and like the Pakistani community, had a lot of opinions about my weight. Aunties would especially say like the most savage things and like kind of exaggerate the weight loss than it actually ever was. I don't think there's a single auntie that didn't like comment on the weight loss. A lot of them asked me for tips, and which is completely fine. A lot of them like had these comments that they would say. One time this auntie said that I went from being extra large to extra small, so they just kind of exaggerated the whole thing, but I guess overall they were happy for me. And yeah, so that's how the Desi community reacted. Yeah, like a lot of uncles even said, they're like, oh, this is like a new person, like, oh, you have another sister or there's another daughter in your family. Yeah, just, you know, that like really exaggerated savage stuff. And then when I guess it comes to guys, you guys wanted to know how I was treated differently by guys and boys. So pretty much before my weight loss, never got you know, approached by anything like I mentioned or anyone. I went back to uni after I lost the weight, and that's where I experienced you know, people actually being interested in me and, you know, approaching me. And I just thought it was so weird in the beginning. I was like, who are you talking to? Like, where, like me? And then yeah, I guess it was flattering because I never experienced it before. I guess it like helped me also realize that looks are really, really important.
Shocking news. Girl who loses lots of weight gets more positive attention from men. Oh my god, shocking. It's gonna be on the front page of the paper for sure. Hamna Gilani, is she like famous or something? Like, who is this? And what ethnicity is she? I'm just curious. Is she Persian or Arab or something? Or Indian? Like, I actually can't tell. In Urdu, Hindi, maybe Indian, I guess. Yeah, like, hello people, do you not, is it not clear that like the reason to get in shape is to make your life easier with the opposite sex? That's the reason. That's why you should do it. I don't know, I thought that was pretty clear. As far as like all of these like, you know, seemingly neutral questions that are actually like just the reaction of like a bunch of jealous bitches, basically. Yeah, what do you expect? You know, women are like not, what do they say? What's the quote? Women don't have friends, they have competition. So, you know, obviously, if you're a girl, if you're too fat, like they're gonna talk shit about you for being fat. If you're too skinny, or if you lose weight and you look good, right? They're gonna be like, oh my god, you're so skinny, you should eat a sandwich. I don't know what she looks like under here. She doesn't look particularly malnourished. Her face is fairly full. She's not like gaunt, is what I'm saying. I don't know if she works out. I don't know, like I don't know what her body looks like. She doesn't look so bad. Generally, like girls who are you know, Middle Eastern. I know Indian is not Middle Eastern, but like whatever, Middle Eastern, Persian, Indian, all that stuff. They generally have better, I guess let's call it, values around food, because they eat more traditionally, as opposed to like American, for example, or Canadian, or Western European. Even Western Europeans, like they have much better values around food. So, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure what I was expecting with this video. I thought it was going to be much more interesting, but I don't know. Maybe she'll say something more interesting.
In society, and people do really treat you really nicely and differently, especially the opposite gender, if you look better. Yeah, and it's crazy how pretty much like every dude from high school slid into the DMs, and it's like, you know, it's a little weird, like you never talked to me before, but now all of a sudden you want to talk to me. So I guess you realize people's intentions a lot quicker. And I was always used to, you know, guys talking to my friends more, because all my friends have always been like the most beautiful girls, like, you know, pretty skinny, just absolutely stunning. I guess it was interesting, like now being in their shoes, since I never experienced that. And I never thought I would, because even when I lost weight, I actually didn't realize that I was pretty. Like I never knew that until like a couple years afterwards. In the first 2 years, I never even knew. I was like, I'm pretty. Like, yeah, I might be skinny now, but I didn't know. Let me talk about aunties a little more, because even to this day, they're like shocked about my weight loss. Like, it's just so weird to me. Like, why are you surprised this much? And they're always asking me about tips, and I'm just like, you know what? Now you can refer to my YouTube channel. Yeah, they were always like super shocked. If they had a daughter that needed to lose weight, they'd be like, talk to her. Yeah, some aunties are like, would like not even recognize me, and I realized as well people from high school wouldn't recognize me if they saw me at uni and stuff. And the little area that I live in, there's like one mall that everyone goes to, one big university where we all went to, and one high school that was pretty popular. So we all know each other, so it's a surprise to everyone. Again, I just want to make sure you guys know that once you do lose the weight, this like, you don't become a new person. You're still the exact same person. And this is where I didn't know until a couple years later. So you don't instantly become a confident person. You don't instantly become like, you know, flower that blossomed. That all comes from within. You still have to work on yourself, because on the inside, you're still the same. I want to...
Okay, that's very important. Yeah, that's crucial right there. I feel like for women, it's easier to make that transition because women have a much more passive role in, you know, whatever, the sexual dynamic between men and women. You just stand there or take pictures of yourself, right? And you get approached, and like, you just get, like, everything comes to you, basically. I'm not saying you don't have to work for anything, or you just can, like, not do anything. You have to do a little bit, but you don't have to do nearly as much as a man to make it happen, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're a guy and you get fit, and you see this a lot on the 4chan fit board, right, where you have a lot of guys who are in like really good shape, there's actually a very funny type of thread that pops up every day. It's called a Meyer thread. Meyer is short for admire. So basically, it's a thread where people will share moments where they were admired by the opposite sex. Generally, it's the opposite sex, but sometimes it's a mire from a parent or from just some random guy at the gym. But generally, it's from the opposite sex. And I don't know, I would say 50% of them are like, you know, I read a funny one the other day where it was like, this guy went to the beach and he took his shirt off. And he like looked around, and there were these two girls just like their jaw like hit the floor. One of them like took out their phone and started taking pictures of him because they were so impressed with his body. And he's like, I was so nervous, I didn't know what to do, that I ran into the ocean and stayed there for an hour until they left, because he was so scared. He was still basically like the shy, insecure guy, even despite the fact that he was like really fit. Whereas with women, you know, it's much more like you get a lot more practice without having to do any work, right? If let's say you're a guy in that situation, if you want to practice your social skills, practice like, let's say like interacting with girls to the point where you can bring them back to your place to have sex with them. So just call it what it is. You have to go over there, you have to talk to them, you have to like basically lead the interaction, you have to like do all of this stuff to make it seem like bringing them back to your place just happened, right? You can't be like, hey girls, what's up? You want to like, I live over there. You want to go like, you know, have sex with me in my apartment? You can't just say that. Whereas a girl can't say that. Not that they do, but it requires a lot more work. Whereas for a girl, you can just go to the beach in your bikini and lie around and do nothing. Much more likely that a guy will come up to you and talk to you and do basically all of the work necessary to make that happen. Anyway, again, this is not like a judgment call. I'm not saying like, oh, women are bad because of this. That's just how it is. That's just the way the world works. You know, what do you want? So yeah, very interesting. Kind of makes me think though, like when I was listening to this, I was like, I kind of want to like get in good shape again and just post fucking selfies on Instagram. Because, you know, it happens the other way too. Sometimes girls will like message you on Instagram occasionally. I mean, now I get DMs because I have this YouTube channel and like whatever. I don't want to say like I'm a celebrity, but like I'm putting myself out there in a way that makes me more than just like your average random person on Instagram. So kind of tempted to do that. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah.
Also talk about body dysmorphia, because I definitely went through it. 110% I went through it, and it's something that I actually till recently kind of got over, but sometimes my mindset still is the same person. You know, I got a little bit too into working out, and I would have like these random nightmares where I'm like overweight again and I'm just like struggling, and I would wake up and I'd be like, thank God I'm not. It really messes you up when you go from one extreme to another extreme. Confidence and all that stuff, it just comes with time. So you just got to be patient with yourself. You can't like expect this massive outcome that you are going to be this way. Like, I will admit that it does give you a little bit of confidence, but you're still confused about who you are until you have like more life experiences in certain situations, and it just gives you more perspective. What I've learned from being overweight is that the way you look matters so much to other people. Your appearance is something that people look at initially and they judge you within 3 seconds. Like, I always thought that my personality was like fantastic and that's why I had friends and that's why they liked me. Definitely after losing weight, you realize that the world is a lot bigger than your bubble. You just realize how people are very responsive to you in a different way. They kind of obsess over certain things about you and your looks. Like, people are obsessed with my weight. Like, I can completely say that, and they're obsessed with the way I look. And I realized this because at every function, every event that I went at, multiple people would mention it. It's something that people can't get over, and it's unfortunate that society judges you based on the way you look. You need to take in consideration that that's how the world is. That might be me.
All right, so this is a particular example because from what she said, it sounds like she lives in an area where everybody knows each other, so like kind of small town-ish vibe. So obviously when you live in a small town, people know you as like the fat girl, and then you become the hot girl. That's how you're going to be known, right? Whereas if she actually moved to like a bigger place, people would know her as just the hot girl, right? So like obviously this is the experience of somebody who lost a lot of weight and didn't leave. You know what I mean? Or doesn't live in a place that is big enough where you're not going to run into people that you know all the time, right? Like if you live in LA and you lose a bunch of weight, who's going to notice? Fucking nobody. You know what I mean? Maybe the people that you work with, if you stay at the same job. How many people is that really? 10, 20, like 100 maybe if you work at fucking Google or something? Like, who cares? Obviously though, if you stay in the same place, it's going to be more pronounced. That's number one. Number two, yes, people will judge you initially on your looks, for sure. And for women, unfortunately for them, or perhaps fortunately, you will be judged mostly on your looks, even after the fact. That's not to say that, women who are overweight or unattractive can't get men. Can they get the best men in the world, the most high quality men who make the most money and like are just like super confident total ballers? Probably not. Those guys will generally go for much hotter girls. They can get a man. But if you know that that's the case, if you know that so much is riding on your looks, why don't you just put all of your effort into your looks? Like, why not? That's like, look at it practically. Okay, forget about all this like social stigma, like, oh, my mom will think this, my friends will think that, like I'll be judged this way, which I know is very tempting for women to do. Your thought process is more along those lines because you're like more empathetic. But if you look at it practically for a second and you think to yourself, okay, people are basically going to judge me on my looks, right? That's not fair, it's not good, the world shouldn't be that way, blah, 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 but that's the way it is. Why don't I spend all of my time and money, or at least a good chunk of it, working on my looks? You can't really make that argument as a man. I suppose you have some people out there who are like, okay, fine, I'm going to put all my time into my looks. If they're like a physique competitor or a fitness model or just like a professional, like ripped dude on Instagram or YouTube, fine. But that's not, guys like that do not necessarily have the option of finding a girl who can financially support them. Whereas for women, that is true. If you're an extremely attractive girl, you're going to attract guys who are, let's just say, higher quality, right? So why not just put more effort into it? There's no ugly women, only lazy women. So like, she's very attractive. I don't know if she's had any work done. Maybe some like filler in the lips. I really can't tell. I don't know. Eyelash extensions, hair. I think this is her hair. Indians generally have very long hair. Like, why not just like play the game? If you know how the game is played, and more importantly, if you know how the game is won, why wouldn't you try to win? As opposed to just like sitting on the sidelines complaining about the rules. Oh, it's not fair because of this. Oh, it's not fair because of that. Just get in the game and try to win. You know what I mean? Honestly, like as I'm hearing myself talk about this, I really just want to like get back on Instagram and fucking post a bunch of like pictures of myself, basically. Why not?
Being a little bit cutthroat as usual. I'm kind of like blunt and to the point. That's just who I am. It's better if you realize this, because when I was young, I didn't realize this. It's a lot of realizing going on. So I guess I'll talk about my family, how they treated me differently. Yeah, again, they were obsessed with my weight, like my extended family. But my immediate family, they were kind of just like, I have brothers, so they don't really like show their emotions or feelings anyways. So, I mean, they really don't care. Like, they obviously called me fat when I was fat, but when I lost weight, they never called me like skinny or any names or anything. I guess they were just like, all right, cool. Like my mom, I think on the inside, she always wanted me to be this, the best version of myself. And she was really, really happy. And I could tell that she was really proud of me for doing this. And, she's still very proud of me for losing that weight. And growing up, she was always a beautiful, fit woman in shape and like really gorgeous herself. And I think she wanted that for me too. And I'm glad that I could, give her some sort of happiness, because, that always makes your parents happy if you were similar to them. And my aunts, like you guys know, I have like 8 aunts, and, they are just like my mom to me. And of course, I think they were all really happy for me too, because they're all into like fashion, girly things. And I just want to make it clear, you guys should not be losing weight for guys and like trying to get attention from men. Got a lot of girls commenting and like messaging me about that. That's really not like one of the reasons that you should be doing this. If he really likes you, he will like you for who you are. Confidence comes from within, and anyone can recognize that. So you don't need to be doing that for other people in any way or trying to get attention from men. That's not, I don't like that. No to that. There's no reason that you should be changing yourself.
Okay. All right. Sure. Okay. No problem. Let me tell you, ladies out there, as a man, no. Wrong. We care about how you look. We want you to look good. If you don't look good, we're going to think twice about having I don't want to say having anything to do with you, but like, we're not going to put in as much effort for you. You could have the best personality in the world. We're just not going to do it, right? You have to basically be above a certain level, right? The higher you are above that certain level, right? It's like, what do they call it? Like, I don't know. I'm not the point of no return, but like the cutoff point. As long as you're above the cutoff point, we will put in some sort of effort. The higher you are above that cutoff point, we will put in more effort, right? If that makes sense. This girl, in my opinion, is fairly high above the cutoff point. I'm not sure what her body looks like. She's got a pretty face, like, seems reasonably intelligent, nice hair. Again, like I said, I don't know what her body looks like, so I can't really say. But I'm going to assume that with, Facetune and the right angles and all the thirsty Indians out there, she can get a lot of male attention fairly easily. But that said, if you're just like out in the world, you're not an Instagram celebrity or a YouTuber, how you look matters. Just like for men, it matters. It matters less for men, despite what all these like, red pill / black pill people will tell you, that it's all about looks, it's all about money. Those things matter. I'm not saying they don't matter. We're talking about women here, okay? They definitely matter for women, and I guess what she was saying is, don't do it for men. Don't do it to get more attention from men. I don't know. I mean, if that's important to you, why not do it, right? Like, I think the benefits of getting fit, let's call it. I was going to say healthy, but like, who cares about health? It's about getting fit, or getting attractive, let's call it. The benefits of getting simultaneously attractive and fit and healthy far outweigh, like, let's just call it a motivation that comes from a bad place to get attention from men. Like, he'll like you even if you're ugly. Like, no, he won't. Sorry, wrong. No, X. To be fair, like, out of all the girls that I've dated, I've only dated one who was like drop dead, like stunner, like got looks on the street. Like, some girls are so attractive. I never realized this until I started dating her. She also worked for me, which was interesting because, like, generally when you have a girl that's that attractive, they have kind of this sense of, like, I don't want to say self-importance, but they're just used to getting whatever they want. You know what I mean? But if you are their manager, then not so much, right? Then you technically have a position of authority above them. And I would notice when she was doing sales that, like, if she would try to stop somebody, they would just stop. They'd be like, oh my God, like, men and women, to be clear, not just men, okay? Most of the people we would stop would be women. When she would try to stop them, they would like stop in their tracks and be like stunned, like, oh my God, what do you want? Like, yes? Like a celebrity's talking to them. You know what I mean? So it's very powerful to be on the highest end of attractiveness. But yeah, anyway, like, it matters. Also with guys, I remember one time I was working with her and this really good looking guy walked by, right? Like, I was like training her a little bit, and this guy was like tall, he was like jacked, he was like had good style, was wearing nice clothes. And basically the way that it works, like, let's say the kiosk is here, you're supposed to stop people when they're a couple meters away, so that if they keep walking, you can continue to talk to them. There's more of a chance that they'll stop, as opposed to if you stop them when they're right there, it's easy for them to just keep walking. So she stopped this guy. I pointed to him, I was like, stop this guy, because she didn't see him coming. And he was literally like past the kiosk, and he was like, hey, she was like, hey, excuse me. And the guy, no joke, I've never seen anybody like spin around so fast in my life. And he stopped, and he came back, and he spent like fucking $200 on shit that he didn't need, right? Obviously, that doesn't happen with everyone, but just to show you the power of, like, an attractive woman. That was maybe a bit of an extreme example, but, just scale it down a little bit depending on how attractive you are or want to be.
For them, do it for yourself first, and find out who you are before you try to do things for other people. I guess that's my little advice for the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Please leave me any comments about anything. I love reading your guys' comments, and I love you guys, and see you later.
Okay, so that's not bad.
Comments about anything.
Oh my god. So that's not technically bad advice about do it for yourself. Obviously do it for yourself, right? The problem is you have to do both, I guess is what I'm saying. You're doing it for yourself, but if you're stranded on a desert island, would you work as hard as if your job requires you to be with your shirt off in front of women all the time? Probably not. So you need internal motivation to do it for yourself, but you also need external motivation so that you want to keep going, basically, so that you have leverage over yourself. Because let's just call it what it is. If you have to wear revealing clothing on a regular basis every single day, let's say, and you're fat and your body's gross, sorry, it's gross, if people are looking at you all the time and being grossed out, that's going to cause you pain, and it's going to be more motivating for you to actually look the way that you want to look. Should you do it only for that? Ideally not, but that's definitely a very good way to kickstart your progress. Who told me to do this? It's a good video. RVC. All right, so not too hard to be nice to her. She's fairly intelligent. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anyway, if you guys have any other recommendations for videos or YouTubers you want me to take a look at, let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.